Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Hump with Katie. I'm your host, Katie Thiroux. I have an exciting episode for you today with the composer, arranger, and orchestrator, Lenny Wee. If you're new to The Hump, this is a series where I interview some of the world's greatest artists and musicians and find out why are they so amazing, how did it happen, what was their journey, and ultimately, what can we learn from them? We've already had some amazing guests like Larry Grenadier, Derek Hodge, Christian McBride, Rufus Reed, Justin Coughlin, and so many others. You can listen to all these episodes and more on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and you can go watch them on YouTube. So go subscribe, download, leave a comment, and let me know who you want to hear from next. Before I bring you today's amazing episode, I'd love to thank our sponsors. And first up, we have the clothing company, Jams World. You guys, I absolutely love Jams World. I'm wearing a Jams World right now, of course. And the reason why I love it is because the fabric is made from 100% spun crushed rayon, and it keeps me cool and comfortable. They've been making clothing in Honolulu, Hawaii since 1964. And the artwork is so unique. It's screen printed right onto the fabric, and it looks like a piece of art. Go to jamsworld.com and use the promo code Jazz15, and you'll get 15% off your entire online purchase. Next up, I'd like to thank Colstein's String Shop. I absolutely love Colstein's. They are doing amazing things for the bass community. They have 2 amazing locations in Long Island, New York, and a killer online store. Go to colstein.com and use the promo code KD10, and you'll get 10% off your entire purchase. Okay, it's time to bring you our episode today, and I'm pretty pumped. It's not a bass player, but don't worry, he's equally as amazing as us bass players. His name is Lenny Wee. You've heard his work all over the place. He has orchestrated and arranged for American Idol, pretty much anything TV-oriented, like the Super Bowl. He did the arrangement for Jennifer Lopez for the Inauguration this year. He is amazing. Just like most of our guests on The Hump, he is quite humble, so I had to do some digging to pull some of the really fun facts out of him. Lenny Wee is a true workhorse, and there's something just to be learned from his work ethic. So I'm really happy to share this episode with you today. Without further ado, here is Lenny Wee. We're doing this.
Yeah.
I make an exception every once in a while to have a non-bass player on my show.
Oh, is it all bass players?
Mostly, I like every 4 episodes I'll throw somebody in, but after meeting you I was like gotta have Lenny.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How's it going? You're in LA?
Yeah, I've been home for a while.
Yeah, kind of. We'll talk about that, staying in one place for a while. But yeah, I really appreciate you doing this. So
yeah.
Won't do any hardball questions, but I just want to. You're so fascinating. Coming from Singapore, going to Berkeley, we have that small connection there. But you are just doing incredible things. So I'd like to figure out how and why. So can I start at the beginning?
Sure.
It's my show. I can do whatever I want.
Exactly.
So you grew up in Singapore.
I did. Yeah.
And I've been there twice, and I absolutely loved it. And there's some really fantastic musicians there, and I loved it. I'll say that. But what was it like growing up for you? Like, what was your first musical experiences there?
Musical experiences. I mean, there's music everywhere, right? And it's hard to quantify. Every kid has music. I guess I was lucky enough to have piano lessons when I was younger. My mom, they just made us do everything. And I guess when they figured out that I was not very coordinated, I couldn't do sports. They're just like, okay, just keep him in the arts. Mm-hmm. Just let him do what he's good at. So that's sort of how, I figured that music would be my path.
And was it something that you liked to do?
Yeah. It was something I enjoyed growing up, and being able to create and being creative. That was always my thing. I never really got into sports and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, like being in Singapore, it's like I don't do so well in the heat, so I just melt there.
I never wanted to be outdoors, like ever. Like actually to this day, it's weird because I live in LA now, and outdoors is great. I still never want to be outdoors. I'm just not an outdoors person.
I'm with you. Camping, no thanks. Like none of that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll walk like on solid ground, but well, and it's kind of like great artists. That's kind of how it shapes you. Like the great Brazilian artist Hermeto Pascoal, he's albino, and so he
couldn't be outdoors.
He couldn't be outdoors, so he had to be inside, and that's why he can play so many instruments, and he was just playing music.
Right.
So that's cool how your environment kind of shaped who you are now, and not like in the heat. Boy, yeah, Singapore, my goodness.
Still don't, and actually it was weird because like I moved to Boston, right, for Berkeley, and couldn't deal with the cold. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, me either.
And then when I moved to LA, I was like, I'm gonna be here the rest of my life. This is fabulous.
Yeah, it's like right. It's perfect. I mean, I don't
like the Goldilocks zone. It's just right, It's
yeah.
never too hot or too cold. Like
exactly. Well, growing up in Singapore, when you're playing music, are there other like kids your age? Like how old were you when you kind of like, okay, I'm into this?
It's weird. I guess I had piano lessons, but never really got into piano performance proper. And I was always in choir, so that was one thing. I guess maybe from like 6 or 7 years old, I've been in choir. So that kind of became my thing, the whole vocal a cappella thing.
Yeah, you're quite the singer.
Oh no, I try now. I haven't sung in years. And then when I went to Berkeley, then I discovered writing and arranging and stuff like that. So I became more of a writer.
So it kind of seems like even from an early age, you kind of liked being alone, like doing your own thing by yourself, musically.
Yeah, it's weird. I've always been very independent. Learn not to have to rely on so many people. I mean, I like being in a group situation too, but I also like that I can create stuff by myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so we'll leave Singapore. We'll leave there.
I left. You're there.
Yeah. You're exactly. So how did you go from Singapore to Berkeley? And did you have to? I don't know if it was. Did you have to serve in the army in Singapore?
I did. Yeah. So I finished junior college, which is what I guess you guys call 11th and 12th grade. Mm-hmm. And then I enlisted for, I think I was in the army for 3 years, almost 3 years. And then applied to college during that time. And I think someone had turned me on to Berkeley because I was very interested in engineering at that time. I wanted to be an engineer. Just because, in music, I was also super into tech. Like I like computers and stuff like that. So I thought, okay, maybe I could just do both and figure it out. So instead of so most of my background was classical music and choral singing and stuff like that. But I wanted to learn about contemporary, like recording art and stuff like that. So I looked it up and people turned me on in Berkeley and they're like, you need to go here. This is like the best school for that. So I got in and the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, were you the type of person too, like when you were still in junior college, like were you like writing arrangements or were you messing around on the computer doing like stuff with Pro Tools?
I didn't have Pro Tools. Yes, I was messing around a little bit. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, yeah, I can record my friends. I had my friends come over and sing stuff, and I would make a cappella arrangements or transcribe stuff and record them. So that was kind of my first foray in the recording and arranging, I guess.
That's kind of cool, though. Like you're able to do this thing all on your own, help out your friends too.
Yeah, exactly.
You're self-sufficient. That's very.
We made like karaoke albums for everybody.
Do you remember some of the songs, or did you do it by request?
Some of it was by request. The songs, we did everything, man. We did Christmas songs. We did pop stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So just a little bit about your Berkeley experience. Was that just like a hit in the face, like Berkeley? Like, did you enjoy it?
Well, the weather was a hit in the face because I started in January was my first semester, and coming from Singapore and never having seen snow before, that was just like, what is going on right now?
Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing I had to get over. And then, Berkeley was fine. I love Berkeley. I love being surrounded by musicians because you never really get that. It's not really super. It's not frowned upon. It's just not encouraged in Singapore because, as you can imagine, it's a small country. Everybody wants to, doctors and lawyers and things.
Yeah.
So it was nice that everyone sort of had the same experience as me, and was super passionate and interested in making music. So that was a breath of fresh air.
Were you, and you majored in engineering as well?
I did. So I originally had entered and only wanted to do production and engineering, which is MP&E. And what happened was, I think you test out of a bunch of stuff in the first semester, and then when I got into arranging one, and somehow that kind of like was a lightning bolt. After I did it, it was just like, oh my gosh, I actually could be good at this. Like, so started getting more into arranging and orchestration and stuff like that, and then actually decided to do a dual major in contemporary writing and production and MP&E, which is in the engineering major.
That's so cool. I mean, some people poo-poo Berkeley because it is like McDonald's in a way. It's just so big and massive. But for people like you, it's like you have that light bulb moment. You're able to write something, have people play it, or go to a project band. You can record. It might be 3 a.m, but you can use the studios and record projects. Yeah. It's like unbelievable. And then we'll talk about it after. But then it's like, it's not the real world because it's Berkeley. But then all those skills you're learning, and everything you get to do, you just.
Well, I would say Berkeley prepares you for the real world. Like, it doesn't actually teach you the skills that you need to be working, but it gives you the foundation to be able to learn those skills. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I took full advantage of that. I feel like I never slept at Berkeley. I was always doing something.
I can imagine.
Either playing in someone's project or singing or engineering someone else's project or producing. It was just always, I had 2 majors. So as you can imagine, I didn't have enough sleep to begin with.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Do you have any like favorite moments at Berkeley?
Favorite moments. I don't know. We did a few of those concerts. Something really struck me when I started working was like, it's like Berkeley runs all those like singer showcase shows like every semester. And then when you get to the real world, you're like, this is the same thing, but just like you're getting paid for it.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. Because it's like almost a variety. It's like a variety show. It's just
that's what I do, right? I do like TV variety shows where it's like one singer per song kind of thing. So
yeah.
So
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you finished Berkeley, and did you come straight out to LA? And did you have a game plan?
I did. Well, I came out to LA, 1 for the weather, and 2 was like, I didn't really have a game plan like per se. I was like trying to weigh it out because it's tough there weren't any like arranging jobs, right? Like those things just happen, So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, intern at a recording studio, try to like work my way up or whatever. I don't know what the progression was for that sort of thing. So I came out and, there were a few different options, like job options for me, like a couple of like composer, like assistant sort of stuff. And also I had to deal with like a visa situation. So when my visa finally became available, the first job I got called for was actually to work at Rickey Minor's office. Who Rickey, we worked together with being his office manager. So It wasn't even a music position. I was like, fine, as long as it gets me in the room, and yeah, a lot happened from that. To this day, I still work with Rickey a lot. So it's been a very fruitful experience, I guess.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, like, as a musician, there's like a Thelonious Monk quote: "You have to be on the scene to be seen." And as a musician, in any setting, like you can go to a jam session and kind of like you meet people and then you do stuff that way. But I was like, I was kind of thinking like, how does an arranger be on the scene?
Okay, so it's weird. I think I don't know if Rickey actually wanted to hire me. I think it was between me and some other guy, and he wanted a more business oriented guy so that handle all the day-to-day stuff. And somehow, I think his wife forced him to hire me. I don't know what happened, but anyway, yeah, I think he knew I had those skills, and he knew that that's what I wanted to pursue. And I think the first time was within my first year working for him. One of the engineers couldn't make it to a session. I think it was a Aretha Franklin session, something crazy like that. And like last minute, like we needed to put the session together. So I put the session together. He's like, I can't get the engineer. He's like, okay, you do it. I'm like, what? So engineer session, you know, and then I think another time was,
Wait, that's crazy.
yeah, it was nuts.
And so you did that.
I did that. And
how long did you remain his office manager after that?
like a year, not even a year. You know, it very quickly he had to hire another assistant.
And were you a good office manager?
I don't know. I think I'm a better musician than an office manager. It was weird. I just never, you know, I used to always get phone calls and I was like, hi, Rickey Minor's office.
Yeah.
I wasn't very good at that kind of thing. But, you know, I moved on really quick, I think. I ended up doing a lot more things, and I'm very grateful for that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the arranging part was just, you know, I was engineering a session, and then there was a string quartet, and I was like, that note sounds wrong. Can the cello play this? That kind of stuff, like, you know, and then they started realizing that, yeah, maybe this guy should be writing the stuff he's coming up in his head sounds fine in the recordings. So you know, Rickey got me on to write for Idol and stuff like that, and that's how sort of, like, you know.
Wow, that's so nonchalant. That just it happened like that. So back up for 1 second, because it's like everyone, you know, you move to LA, like if you want to be an actor or something, and it's like you want that big moment. So like, how long you moved to LA, and how long did it take for you to get the first job with Rickey Minor? Like weeks or months?
Well, it's weird. I moved to LA, and I was in LA for about 2 months, and I couldn't work because of my visa. I wasn't allowed to work. So I had 3 or 4 job offers that I had to turn down because they wanted someone straight away. And within a week of me having the visa, I was hired for Rickey.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, you know, everything kind of just turned out the way it should have, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, other than engineering for Aretha Franklin, you know, just like last minute, what do you feel like was like your first big gig that you had?
Big gig. I mean,
or like okay, I can. This is cool.
Well, my first professional writing arranging gig was American Idol, and they were just like, have this guy write 1 song a week kind of deal. Yeah, it was American Idol season 8. And I think it was Michael Jackson week. It was the first week of the finals, and they were like, here's the song. And it was really weird. It was like, I had never done a full arrangement for TV before. And you know how at Berkeley, it's like, okay, for your midterm project.
Yeah, you have a few months to do this.
Weeks, yeah, you know, let's pick this song and blah, 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 right? And here's like 8 p.m. I got a call. They're like, Lenny, we would like you to write an arrangement for, I think it was Allison Irahita singing "Give In to Me" by Michael Jackson, and you know, full horns, full strings, full orchestra kind of thing. And you have until midnight to do it. I'm like, what? So, you know, it's like just jump right into the fire kind of thing.
And do you work well like that? Because I know some people are like, yeah, just give me the challenge.
I do. I mean, you see me work.
Yeah.
I kind of thrive on the adrenaline a little bit. It's kind of like what I live for almost.
Yeah, I was just talking to, I don't know if you met him on Idol, but Trey Henry, the bass player. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, I love that. You like, tell me to play this song on this bass and the next song, a different style. Like, I just love, throw it all at me. He's like, I love the pressure.
Right. Yeah. I kind of, you know, I'm kind of a pressure junkie in that way. I just love it.
Yeah.
I complain. I mean, I guess, you know, I try not to complain, but it's just like, oh, so much stuff to do. But secretly, I just love every single minute of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of old school, that way of writing. It was just normal, like, you know, for big bands and TV shows and like that. It's like,
oh, yeah.
And you'd have somebody, it's all by hand, and then someone would copy it for you. And
I have never written a score by hand in my entire life. I started writing on software.
Yeah. And it makes sense. Just, you know, when you grew up.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's really exciting. So that was your first time, and you were doing one arrangement a week?
It started at 1, and then I think the time it ended, I was doing like 4 or 5 a week. It was pretty nuts.
Yeah, so how was life for you like that? Because I imagine that probably wasn't the only thing you were doing. Or maybe it was.
During Idol,
Yeah.
the first pass of Idol, we did 8 and 9, season 8 and 9, and how was it for me? It was very. I didn't sleep again, and also I was the head engineer for the group songs, so I had to record it. So it was like, Thursday they're picking their songs. Friday I'm like arranging. Saturday we're recording the songs. Sunday we're in overdubs and mix, and then Monday we're at rehearsal, and then after rehearsal I have maybe to record the group song, mix it overnight. Tuesday we're in camera block. Wednesday we're filming. Thursday we start everything over again. So it was just every day, kind of like 16-hour days, crazy. But I held up. I was young. I was 24, 25. So it was like, I could totally do that kind of schedule.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's really incredible. So you've done so much more than Idol. I mean, it's almost too much to name, but pretty much anything with TV, like Emmys, Grammys, Oscars, you've done. I mean, if we haven't even the inauguration, like, let's talk about that for a second. So you orchestrated, arranged for the Joe Biden's and Kamala Harris's inauguration. And was that another situation where it was like 1 week ahead of time, or did you have a little bit of time?
I had 2 weeks for that. So that was it was very nice to get the call. It was still very preliminary in terms of she hadn't really picked the song yet. It was like kind of just bouncing all ideas off of her. That was a really cool gig to do.
With Jennifer Lopez.
With Jennifer, yeah.
So she chose her song.
She chose her song, yeah.
And does it change? Do you change because it's the inauguration? Like, were you a little bit more nervous?
No.
Or is it the same? Every gig's the same.
Here's how I see it. Like I kind of put in like 110% effort in every gig I do.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel that different to me. No matter how much I get paid, you're going to get 100%, 110%, just always over deliver. So it didn't really feel different in that way. I think maybe what was different was this was more of a gig where I had more creative control and more autonomy, I guess, as music director, So that was different.
Yeah.
Other people.
Well, yeah, and normally, let's finish this one. But how was it to actually be there to get to see it and hear it?
Oh, it's great. I was a little scared at first, like because of the whole COVID situation. But it was just such an honor to be there and to witness the whole thing. That was just really cool.
Yeah,
I was working, but it was just being there was such a great experience.
Yeah. Well, I imagine you're probably at most of the performances that you arrange for. Would that be true or no?
Not necessarily.
Because sometimes are you just kind of like, it's like when you're not going to be there, okay, here's my arrangement.
I've done that. Well, that has happened. Most often the jobs I work on, I'm either the lead arranger, one of the main arrangers, and also I get hired to, oversee the music of the live part too. So, whether it be like playing the backing tracks or helping the director or being the music director or, conducting, I kind of try to be there so I can oversee the live portion of it.
Yeah, that's a nice, I wouldn't say luxury, but that's just like really nice to be able to do.
Yeah. That like to be in that situation. It's always great to be asked. But I also do jobs where I just send in a chart and never hear back from them again,
Yeah. I know, because I've had friends, they'll send an arrangement and then they'll hear it back. So they're like, what? They changed that.
Right. Yeah, and I'm normally normally when I do these shows, there's a few arrangers. It's not just me, and I'm the only one there to defend myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes, the band is like, no, we shouldn't do that. And I'm like, no, do it. Play the A.
Yeah, that's cool. So how's that relationship, like having musicians, I know, so that's like an arranger relationship, but like having relationship with musicians that you can kind of like, okay, these are my go-tos, I can count on them, they know me, they know the music.
How is it? Or
Yeah, like how that's a good thing for you, right?
yeah, I mean, and also working in the industry for so long, you kind of build relationships and have worked with multiple people who you know what their skill set is and who fits into what situation better. So yeah, that always comes into play, and it's nice to know that someone is going to be faithful to stuff that you write, but at the same time put themselves into it and make something bigger than the stuff that you put on paper.
Yeah. Why don't you kind of already talked about your hours, but I just imagine your hours are crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, and that's kind of true of like all my writing friends. It's like I'll be texting them and it's like 8 a.m. and they're like, I'm drinking my coffee. They're like, all right, I'm going to bed.
Right. Sometimes when I'm working, that doesn't even happen. It's like go to work at 8 a.m. for a 9 a.m. hit, work all day. I mean, there was a couple of shows I did was like that. Work all day. We would end work at 10 p.m., 9 p.m., and then there would still be 4 arrangements to write for 7 a.m. the next morning. So I just don't sleep for that day, I guess.
Yeah.
On a weekend and pass out.
Yeah, you need an assistant.
Mm-hmm. It's tough. I've been thinking about that part too, and they want to help me out, but it's just hard for a freelancer because I can't guarantee the work. I can't guarantee,
Yeah, to be like per job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You're not even old. Nobody's old, but like, are you at the
You're not even old. People are old.
You're well established and you've been doing this for a long time. Do you feel like you're at the position where you see younger or up and coming arrangers or composers and you're able to mentor them a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I have, and I think it's it's about helping other people, and there's always a place in the industry for everybody. I feel like that wants to be in it. There's always going to be music being made. It's just how you use what you have to make it and to find those opportunities. So yeah, I always would love to work with younger people. I just turned 37, by the way, so
that's not old.
Okay.
Well, in LA, that's like 100 years old.
Right, exactly.
I'm joking. So you've already somewhat taken me in the day of the life, but what's like for Lenny Wee, even with COVID, I know you're still busy, but like what's a typical day for you?
Typical day, if you started at midnight, then I'm still working. Typical day if I'm currently on a job is I have this thing where I can't go to bed or I can't have a restful sleep unless all that work for the day is done.
Okay.
I'm just weird like that. So
that's good work ethic.
Yeah, and I'll even if I'm really tired, I just have to stay up and do it, because if I don't, I still won't get any rest, and it'd be weird. It will be even worse for me to push it back. So I'd rather just get it done first. So I'll stay up until whatever time it takes to get it done. And sometimes it's self-imposed, like deadlines, right? Like Jennifer was like, "Oh, here's like 4 songs I want to try. Can you just like make some like a demo and let me figure it out?" I'm like, great. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do 1 song a day. So I won't sleep until I finish the song. So maybe I finish at like 5 a.m., 4 a.m. Go to bed, wake up, around, I don't know, it depends on what I have to do. If you don't set an alarm clock, I'll wake up at noon. But if I have stuff to do, I'll wake up earlier. Yeah, and then sometimes it's on set during the day, and then more writing at night, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
'cause
I work a
it's
lot. I think a lot of my waking hours is spent working if I'm on a show or on a job.
yeah, because it's different. Like you arrange for, mostly, well, not mostly, but a lot of TV
Right.
and
Yeah,
things
it is
like that. So
it's
it's like
variety TV and then most of my
it's a double header job.
right. And I engineer on the shows too, so it's not like I'm just arranging.
Yeah,
Sometimes I'm conducting and engineering. There was once it was weird. It was I had to conduct the song, but I was also doing the playback.
you're like just a second,
Yeah, play run out with the
yeah.
baton.
Oh, that's great. Wow. So do you have any like future goals, like things that you're like projects you want to do or people to work with?
I don't know if I set goals that way. I feel like I used to. Um, when I first moved out, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do this show, and I'm gonna win a Grammy by the time I'm 40, that kind of thing. And yeah, I find like in the industry, it's where it's just like you just have to go with the flow almost.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so far, LA's been really good to me. I've never really had to solicit gigs per
Mm-hmm.
se. Like I don't go asked to do stuff usually. Um, so I've been lucky in that way. And I've got, good friends and musicians that would love to have me on their gigs too. And, and I'll call them on my gigs, that kind of stuff. So I've got a good network of people that I work with. And yeah, I don't really set goals in that way because, LA, like the music industry never really turns out the way you want it to. Like when I moved out here, I was like, oh, I'm going to be an engineer. I'm going to make albums and record, maybe I'll end up producing an album, something. That's never happened. Or maybe it has happened, but, it's just, it doesn't happen in the way you think it will happen. And I ended up doing TV and loving it, making my career and my expertise about that.
Well, it kind of just seemed like you were prepared for any situation that someone would throw you
Yeah, and
into.
that's what you have to know coming out of Berkeley too. You just got to be prepared to take whatever comes your way.
Yeah,
And
like
really dictate the path of your career.
yeah, like you probably wouldn't have. Well, maybe you would have said yes to that first Aretha Franklin session engineering if you didn't know how. But it's like you knew how to engineer. You made that clear, and then you worked your magic.
Yeah, I think at that point also I just was really fearless about like stuff.
That's a good thing to be. But you had the goods to back it up.
Yeah, exactly.
I won't hold you on, Lenny, much longer because I know you probably have, a few arrangements and to write and some TV to produce and engineering. But the last thing I want to talk about was how has your life changed during COVID? Has it changed that much? The arranging and the work you do.
Yes and no. When it first happened, uh, as I'm sure you must have experienced, like all the live shows just got canceled. And because I work primarily with live, we always have an audience, we always have a bunch of people in the room playing together. That was really strange. So all the stuff I had lined up the next few months got canceled. And then, I picked up a recording project here and there, and then they started making TV remotely. So they still require people to do music like from home, record from home, that sort of stuff. So they needed charts, obviously. So that's where I came in. And then we got the Carrie Underwood thing that I worked with you on. So that was really cool to be back in an orchestra situation, and people still figuring out how to do the testing and all that. And lately it's been that if there was in-person jobs to be done, it's just a whole bunch of precautions to get people in the room together. Like yeah, I had, like at the inauguration, we tested every day in the hotel. They had a whole testing facility there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So other than that, it's the same.
Now it's just, I guess, yeah. I mean, there's still fewer in-person jobs. There are a lot of work from home kind of jobs now. Whereas previously, a lot of my work required me to be on set.
And do you like being home or do you like being out in the action?
Both. I love being home. I love working from home. I love, because that's where I'm most comfortable, like writing. I have my stuff around me. But I also like that I get to be on set and working with the musicians and being able to witness the whole thing go down. Like that's kind of the adrenaline of it too. So I like both ends of it. I feel like I'm an introvert, but I still like to, be out and make music. Because that's what making music is, right?
Yeah.
Other people.
Yeah, being with other people.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, Lenny, I think that's all I have. Do you have any parting words of wisdom? So it's okay.
Not really. What, do your listeners want to hear anything? Like, what do they normally look out for?
Well, anything like to do with like arranging, or I guess you don't have goals. You don't set goals. And
I don't set goals. Yeah. Maybe I've had the luxury of not being able to set goals because I'm busy. And also I don't say no to gigs. I just do everything that comes along. And yeah, I think that might be a thing. It's just don't, if it's within your ability, don't say no. A lot of the time, one thing will lead to another.
Yeah.
I'm doing this really. I can't really say what I'm doing.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
I started. Right, but it's off kilter from what I normally do, but I'm still doing it. So. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it's like you at the beginning we were talking, like just having that one opportunity with Rickey, like how many things have blossomed from that too.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just building trust with people, with your peers too. I think the important thing to take away is a lot of people come into it thinking that it's a competition and that why did this other person get the gig? Like I should have gotten the gig. That sort of thing. It's like, no, that gig was meant for someone else. Your gig's gonna come.
Yeah. You
just got to be ready for that. Like someone else getting a gig doesn't mean you work less.
That's key, Lenny. That's awesome. Yeah. That was perfect. That was perfect. Now that's for everybody too, no matter what you do.
Yeah, exactly. You can't. Yeah, you should just root for everybody's success, especially the people that you love and the people that you work with and the people that are your friends. Like there's no point. You're not in competition for gigs. I don't think music works that way.
No, that's so true. Yeah, I think because especially if you see someone else doing something that you wanted to do, that just means it's possible.
Exactly. It might be yours next time,
That's right.
And there's always music going to get made. Like we'll always find a way. Look at COVID. We're still finding a way to do orchestras and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I loved that. That was beautiful, Lenny.
Thanks.
Well, I'll let you get back to your to all of your work. I really enjoyed this. Thanks for taking the time. I'm so glad I got to meet you. You're like amazingly talented. You're so behind the scenes, and you're not underrated, but you're just like a low key fellow. Yeah, I never really experienced the need to be the one like in front of the camera or whatever, And I like conducting, I like writing, and I like all aspects of music making, but I don't have to be the guy, Yeah.
On camera.
Well, you've got the hair game for it. You've got that going for you.
Oh, this is the best COVID haircut ever. I haven't cut it yet. Like just don't. I mean, I'm sure have you cut your hair since COVID?
I cut it myself just one time, but that was it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm so happy that I didn't choose to cut my hair short before COVID.
Well, when I was researching you, I was like, is that Lenny with the short blonde?
I had all kinds of crazy hair. Just coming from Singapore, it's everyone has black short hair. It's just boring. So we just do all kinds of crazy stuff.
You just switch it up, yeah.
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 I'll cut it. I'm not that attached to it, I'll cut my hair.
Oh, what's your favorite Singaporean dish?
Ooh, that's tough. That's really bad to ask a Singaporean that, because Singapore is like a food mecca of Asia.
Oh my gosh, it's like It's one of my favorite places I've ever eaten. It's just like 101 food.
You get everything. Yeah. And so it's tough for me to pick because I live there, and every time I go back, I gain like 20 pounds. No, stop eating. I have to eat, and there's so many varieties there that you can't really pick. I mean, if you would put me under the gun, I would probably say, wow, I can't even think. Hokkien noodles, maybe fried prawn noodles or shrimp noodle soup.
Prawn noodle soup, yeah.
I like noodles. I'm a noodle guy.
Yeah, I don't eat meat anymore, but I loved chili crab.
Oh yeah, that was great. My mom makes chili crab, so that's good. No, my mom's an awesome cook. And
is everyone's mom in Singapore an awesome cook, or?
No, mine is better than everybody else.
Okay.
Everyone's gonna say that though.
I loved that dish, and then the dish. I don't know what the name for it is, but you boil a chicken and then you put it in ice so that there's a layer of fat between the.
Oh yeah, it's a Hainanese chicken rice. I just made it this week actually. I'm Hainanese.
Oh wow.
My grandparents are all from Hainan Island, and yeah, my mom taught me how to make it, and I think I made it for my birthday last week.
Oh cool. I think we're like birthday buddies. Mine's on the
I dunked the whole chicken in hot water and in ice. That's how you do it.
Very cool. I love it. Oh, and it was the first time I loved it. Now I do this. Coffee in the bag.
Oh, coffee, that soft coffee?
Yeah.
My parents do. I just bought like an espresso maker because I'm not bougie. I just like espresso.
Oh, are you kidding me? I got my Nespresso. I actually, on the road, I bring my machine with me, or I have.
No way.
Oh yeah, and I have it. It's like shaped like a pill. It's an espresso, and I pump it. Because I have a hot water thing. Yeah, I gotta have my coffee.
Yeah, me too. I'm just. My parents owned the coffee shop growing up, so I've been addicted since I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also how I stay up all day.
Yeah, exactly. The last time I was there, I tried my students got me coffee that the beans were roasted in butter.
Oh no way.
Yeah, it kind of made my stomach
like a keto coffee thing.
I guess so, but it was like the whole beans were roasted in butter. Yeah. It made my stomach hurt a little bit.
Oh, okay. Dairy, huh?
Yeah. Okay, Lenny, this is great. I am going to end it now, for sure. But this was really fun. Great to catch up with you, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, thanks.
And good luck on everything you're doing.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Thanks, Lenny.
You too.
Bye.